Morning all. How are you all doing? Morning Martin, Peter, Neo, JC, Virginia, Steve, Danny, Amy, B-side. B-side? Morning Burke. What's the B-side mean? How are you all doing? Tuesday morning. Nothing much happened overnight. Morning Kennelly. So a bit rubbish with the ADRs and everything so far this week, but hey. Morning Andres. So let's start off with news. Music was different. No, music's not changed. Well, I haven't changed it anyway. It's a video. Couldn't change. It was a bit calming to start with. No, it's the same music. I haven't changed it. It's been like that forever. Morning, Brian. Morning, Antonius. Right, quickly start with the news. Just wanted to recap some news from yesterday afternoon. I don't think I went through the news yesterday afternoon because I didn't see this. But Yellen don't expect a recession in the US. So trying to rally the US a little bit, but didn't see that yesterday. And the other thing I didn't see yesterday was Nagel expecting a 25 basis point rate hike in July. So we were expecting this anyway, but just more confirmation from the ECB that they are going to raise their interest rates in July. So more bullish stance on the ECB, but the market doesn't seem to have particularly reacted to that. Things have changed in Russia overnight as well. Obviously, the grain deal and the Black Sea peace treaty, if you like, that was in place expired last night. So basically, any ships in the Black Sea are now fair game. Russia will pop them. Bridge got attacked in Russia, and they assume that was Ukraine, so they're going to retaliate today, I would imagine. So it's potentially might escalate a little bit in Russia, Ukraine, but you know, there's always the chance of that happening. Aussie news overnight. The only news we've had overnight is the Australian dollar, the monetary policy meeting minutes. Nothing came out of that apart from mixed messages, basically. The Australians saying that they will do anything that it takes to get inflation down, apart from increase your interest rates, which is what you need to do to get inflation down. But anyway, they're not listening to themselves. So existing monetary policy stance was restrictive, and it will grow more so. But if you look at the fundamentals, they're not actually doing what they're saying. So they're saying, a bit like the Fed, they're saying one thing and doing another. They're saying we will do anything we can to get the inflation figure down. Tightening is going to get worse, etc. But I know we won't increase our interest rates. The main thing that will do that. So as usual, confusion reigns. Labour market is extremely tight, blah, blah, blah. We're prepared to go to any length to reduce inflation apart from interest rates. So nothing particularly interesting came out of the Aussie overnight. So if we whiz through the Aussie dollars, as you can see, we got a fair bit of volatility, lots of wicks, lots of movement up and down, but nowhere, ADR is up there and there. Didn't do anything. So nothing out of that at all overnight. No movement really anywhere overnight during Asia. A lot of volatility. I was going to say no movement overnight. Last hour, Aussie New Zealand's taken off. Huge spike in the Aussie New Zealand. Is that the New Zealand dollar? Yeah, New Zealand dollar's collapsing. Pre-market. So, but apart from that, nothing else. So New Zealand dollar is having a negative reaction to something. So news today, 1:30 this afternoon, inflation figures for Canada come out and retail sales for the US. So two very big news events today. 11:45 tonight, we've got the CPI also for New Zealand dollar. So overnight, we've got two CPIs coming in. We've got the pound and the New Zealand dollar before the market opens tomorrow. But today is obviously all about the Canadian inflation and the US retail. So we had negative news last week for these guys. Obviously, all the CPI figures for the US came out as negative. The interest rate came out as expected on the Canadian dollar, but they had a negative reaction to that. So we had negative moves, US, and obviously the PPI figures came out as negatives as well. So we had negative news and moves on the US and Canada last week. So hopefully today we will get as expected or slightly positive on these two this afternoon, and then we will start to undo those moves from last week and start the profit take moves on them. Just been stopped out on a pre-market order I had in on futures. Literally to the tick. Literally to the tick. Stops. See your heading. Anyway, so yeah, there's your overnight news. So no ADRs overnight. We've got 2 minutes to the open. No ADRs at all. No weeklies hit yet. The monthlies we looked at yesterday are still the same as they were before. So that's the news. All covered. So today, obviously, everything's going to be run up to there. So the afternoon session this afternoon, we'll see what sort of volume and volatility we get. But if we've had a massive move on the US indices during the news release at 1:30, there won't be a lot of volume left. So it might not be a good opening range breakout this afternoon. The other thing you've got to bear in mind is we are now also in earnings season, earnings fortnight. So today is the first day of earnings, Bank of America and Morgan Stanley. We've had pre-market, so might get a little bit of movement off of those. Tomorrow's the first day that we really get some decent movement, and then Thursday's when it really kicks off. So, and obviously from there, it's crazy weekend, or crazy week rather. Morning, everybody else I haven't said hello to. Morning, Freeman. Maybe it starts like that. Not heard it from the beginning. I don't know. It loops. It's about a 7-minute track, so yes, but it does just loop. So I don't know. Music. Morning, Jerry. Morning, Felicity. Thoughts on Euro New Zealand? We've got 1 minute to the open. Let me do the DAX first. 5 seconds. Crap. No time. Range is too small for a pre-market today, so not taking the pre-market. So if you wanted to take the pre-market today, let's quickly look at the DAX first. Euro New Zealand H1. We'll have a look at that in a sec. There we go. So your pre-market range today is there for the DAX. If you've taken that, you are short. We have got a gap fill to the upside. It's one of those 9 ones. So these gap fills. There's two observations I have of these. Yeah, when you have something like that, where we've tapped into the low around the end of the session, and you've got a gap, that typically is kind of done. So it doesn't have to go all the way to the gap. There was orders being placed around this area, and getting back to there fills that unfinished business. So I've often seen this kind of scenario playing out where that is kind of classed as a gap fill. It's just a case of when we get a gap, we head for it. But exactly where you need to get to complete all the unfinished business and get the books balanced, you're never going to know, obviously, that because it's down to the banks. So I would class that as probably done today. So we are waiting on a pullback on the DAX. So from last week, obviously, where we are with the DAX, we are in a bear market at the moment. Well, we are in a kind of bear flag sort of thing at the moment. We've got the high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high. The next move is down there. We've got no gaps to fill in the DAX at the moment to the downside, but depending on whether or not this is going to be a new peak formation low and we are going to come and test this high, obviously what we'd be looking for is a pullback and run. If we're going to continue market structure as it is at the moment, obviously we're going down. So we're going to test this low. So either way, you would expect them to want to pull back if they're going to go long. So it looks more like we should be looking at bearish opportunities today. But we will see. The problem with running into earnings fortnight is sector purchases. So obviously this is all US stocks. Everything that we've got in earnings fortnight is US stocks. It's the US stock earnings. So they don't affect the DAX directly because they're not German stocks, but the outcome of these will impact sector purchases. So if Bank of America and Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs all come out with amazing figures, they will buy stocks in Deutsche Bank, for example, because they will be doing a sector purchase on banks stocks in general, assuming that all bank stocks are going to have the same thing. They're all doing well. They usually all do well at the same time. When the motor industry does bad, all motor industry does bad. Same with all sectors. So these will indirectly affect the DAX. So you tend to find when we've got earnings fortnight, you've got a lot of just movement that typically doesn't make any sense. I mean, nothing makes sense. Obviously, you can't predict anything, but you suddenly look at the technicals and go, well, that's not normal. That's because it's stocks, earnings and sector purchases going on. So typically, I would expect it to do that, but we'll have to wait and see. If you took the pre-market today, you've probably had your 1.5 hour out of that today. Whoops, wrong way. Yeah, so nice, easy 1.5, 2 hour actually. 2 hour reward out of the pre-market, short. US indices are actually holding up at the minute. So it's just the DAX coming down. The US indices aren't actually doing anything really at the minute. Right. So there's a pre-market break. So there's your 5-minute opening range today. Fairly big one today. We've got 12 seconds left on this candle. Fairly big range there. Let's just see. Get an entry on that. 7. I think that's too big. Oh no. No, going right. Going with the pre-market opening range break. Sorry, not the pre-market. The 5-minute opening range break. So downside, obviously, we'll be looking for a run down into yesterday's low initially. So that's your first level that may get bought up. Failing that, wrong one. So yesterday's low is in the support rectangle as well for the reversal alert. So on short on the Dow as well. So I'm just trying to do a little bit of futures trading based on the DAX ORB as a little test. So had some pretty good success with it actually so far. So if we break yesterday's low, as you can see, there's really nothing but clear air until we get down to this candle here, which is part of this little accumulation, which is 150 ADR. So this area here is just clear air. So if we do break that low, there's a good chance, I think, of getting a good trend day in this afternoon. Obviously, we've got to get down there first. Upside risks today, obviously, yesterday's high, we had fairly tight range. Yes, Jesus Christ. Sorry, I'm just, let me get these orders in. So we've just completely flipped back the other way on the US indices. So yeah, upside risks as due to this tight range that we had yesterday, or tight ADR. Yesterday's high, which is there, is your first potential resistance level, and then the previous day's high just above it, and then last week's high just above that, all within ADR. So if we do get the ORB to the upside today, obviously, assuming we don't find any resistance at the gap fill, you've got 3 major resistance levels coming up, which you could get a decent reaction at. So 3 levels to watch to the upside. one level to watch to the downside and then potentially a break all the way down to 150 ADR. At the moment, it ain't going anywhere. Stuck. So at the moment we're painting an inside bar. 2.5 minutes left on this candle though. But at the moment we're an inside bar on the opening range. Right, let's have a look at some FX while we're waiting for the market to do something, which it doesn't seem to want to do. I just hemorrhaged $230 this morning. Start to the day. Right, ADR's flat. Weekly range is flat. There's not a lot of RSIs to look at today either. We're waiting for a lot of stuff to play out. So, Euro New Zealand, someone wanted to look at. So, Euro New Zealand coming up into resistance. We're extended on the RSI to the upside. Initial entry would have been, well, if you've taken the 70-30 RSI extensions yesterday, you'd have been short on this from yesterday. But we're coming up into last week's high. And this previous high there, so that area there, which is this area here, just basically that area of resistance, which we've bounced out of multiple times, that is being tested again. You've got 2 propulsion gap targets to the upside before you get to the last month's high. So short there, looking for it to come back down into the range somewhere and test either last week's low, previous week's low, or last month's low. And then if that short doesn't work, re-enter back up at the monthly high, in which case then if we're all the way up there, RSI is going to be very nicely extended and you'll get that nice big drop from those highs. So good for shorts. New Zealand dollar is obviously very weak at the moment, which is why this is pushing up. New Zealand dollar weakness obviously means Euro New Zealand rally. So yeah, it's a RSI extension. Not quite extended enough for me at the moment though. And obviously you've got upside targets. So if this doesn't work, this level here, and you break up, that's going to become your downside target from wherever you scale in, wherever your average is, that'll be a target to the downside. But wait for a reversal alert if you want to get into it. You're not going to get one, I don't think. Oh, yeah, no, it's fairly tight, actually. Yeah, so it's not too bad. We're on that level now, look. Right now. Right, that's Euro New Zealand. And that is the only RSI extension we've got at the moment. So that is your hourly. There's 4 hourly RSI extensions, which I'll go through. So CAD Swiss. So I haven't banked anything so far this morning. Did 2% yesterday. Oh my God, this thing's going to pee me off this morning. Stops too tight. Okay. This is why I don't trade the Globex session usually. It's an experiment, but with real money. So they always tend to go wrong. Oh, yesterday was showing really well, but yeah, Globex trading, not fun. $100. Right. So yeah, not banked anything so far today. So got quite a lot of exposure on. There's nothing particularly in trouble at all at the moment. US dollar Swiss and CAD Swiss are the main drawdowns at the moment. So I'm waiting to get an aggressive drawdown control position on CAD Swiss. So CAD Swiss obviously is 4-hour RSI extension. So we're just coming out of extension now on this one. So I just need to flip short on this now. So DAX hasn't actually decided to go yet. There's your inside bar. So if you wanted to, you could take an inside bar break there. I would probably wait for that opening range breakout today, though, because this is not really going anywhere. There's not a lot of volatility. So what you don't want is, like I'm getting done on the Dow, just getting whipsawed inside this opening range. Yeah, so I'd probably take the 5-minute ORB today rather than trying to get clever with inside bar breaks. If it does go, obviously you're going to get in earlier. But if it doesn't go, you run that risk of just getting chopped to death today. There's no volatility. Bear in mind, we've got massive news coming today, this afternoon, 2 massive news events. So maybe that we're waiting for that. So don't get too eager to get in. So CAD Swiss, I am waiting for this low, monthly low, to get an aggressive drawdown control position on. So roughly ADR today is last month's low. So looking basically for the price to get down here and hopefully find some limit order buys down there. You can see how big and strong this move has been. We haven't had a profit take on this move yet at all. So it's this basically pretty much the same. Yeah, so we're just waiting for that bounce, waiting for the profit take. The banks are going to take profit on this move at some point. Just waiting for it. The limit order triggers at the monthly low are the obvious spot. So if we can get down there today, I'm going to get an aggressive drawdown control position on something like quarter, half an ADR maybe. Stop loss on it, which will bring the average down nicely and then get us out in that propulsion gap. So that's extended on the 4 hour. It's just coming out of extension now though, potentially putting a W pattern in. So we've had the reversal alert on the 4 hour. We're pulling back. As long as we don't invalidate that low, that's going to be a W pattern reversal, and then we'll be off. Hourly, same thing. Just looking for that W. So it is pushing down into yesterday's low at the moment. So we may well get limit triggers at yesterday's low. We got a nice big rally out of that and put in a bull day yesterday. So we were bullish yesterday on the daily. But if it doesn't, and it invalidates that level just below yesterday's low, we've got backup of all those limit triggers basically coming from the monthly low. So that's CAD Swiss extended on the 4 hour. Really no volume, no direction at all today. It's either going to go bang and it's just suddenly going to go, or we're just going to be getting rotation today. So doesn't look particularly enticing, does it? So there's CAD Swiss. Euro CAD extended on the hourly, extended on the 4 hourly to the upside. So this one, obviously, we're sitting in propulsion at the moment off of this resistance, which we got the reaction at. But the market seems to be pushing up again this morning. So once we've broken this high here, there's not really anything until we get back up to this double top monthly high. So we've got a propulsion gap there, but that's kind of part of an A shape. So not really a decent propulsion gap. So yeah, if we're going out the highs, we're going to need to add on to this one. A bit of a tricky entry. This got big, wide third and fourth entry there because of the speed of that movement. There was no reverse alerts to get into any extra positions until we got all the way up to the top. So if this is going to continue to rally, so be it. Obviously, Canadian dollar inflation figures coming out later. If those come out as a positive, this thing's going to be back down here this afternoon. So we will see what the news is like this afternoon. But hopefully we get a decent move off the news. 4 hour RSI extension just coming out of it now. So we're up at the same sorts of levels we were back there. So we're just looking for a profit take move on the rally, basically. Back down into this area here. Euro US dollar, same thing. Euro US dollar, Euro CAD, they're going to be doing the same thing. The US dollar and the Canadian dollar move in tandem. So big strong push, waiting for that profit take move back down into there. Again, nice big extension on the 4 hour RSI. Hourly RSI was extended back last week. So yeah, just big, strong, really, really weak US dollar, really, really weak Canadian dollar. It looks like today we've got a little bit of strength coming through in that euro this morning. So that's what's helping this along the way at the moment. Euro's just having a bit of a rally at the open. See if that sustains itself. Euro US is going up. Pound US is going nowhere. So little bit of a weak US dollar open as well. That's why the Euro US dollar and the Euro CAD are having a bit of a rally. So yeah, those are good mean reversion opportunities. You can see my target down there on the euro US dollar. So just this massive propulsion gap off the news, looking for a retarget of that. And US dollar Swiss. So same as the CAD Swiss. Looking to try and get an aggressive drawdown control position off on this one, but we're in uncharted territory on this. We haven't been down here since you've got to go all the way back to the Swiss franc cap removal, which is back here. Yeah, so that candle there where they removed the cap on the Swiss franc, that low, yeah, so that was the previous low there. That's exactly where my average is, funnily enough. That's it. There's nothing until we get all the way back down to there. So I don't think we're going to wait for a technical support, because it's not really a technical support. That was a black swan. So it's just a case of waiting for the banks to get bored piling money into the Swiss franc. So if we get the Swiss franc weakening from here, we're going to be reliant on that US dollar retail figure coming out as positive this afternoon. If we get the positive retail figures, we'll be back up there, no problem at all. And as soon as we start that move and the market sees the bulls taking back control, they'll start buying it, and we'll get that rally. That profit take will start kicking in and get underway. So just waiting for the banks to make a move, really, at the minute. But I'm not going to take an aggressive on this. ADR, my average is only 150 ADR. We'll do that on a news event. So if it does break down further, though, then I will start to look at getting aggressive positions onto this one, because when we do get that profit take start, I want to be on it with some decent size. So waiting. DAX is stuck. Not going anywhere on the DAX today. So there's your pre-market was the trade to take today. Pre-market 5 or 15 was pretty much the same range. Your 5-minute ORB is the same as your 15-minute ORB today, with basically inside bar on an inside bar, and we've just broken the downside of the 2 inside bar pattern, which is a contraction, and we've pulled back inside it. So not going anywhere, are we? So you've got to say at the moment, bulls are in control of the very little price action we've got because of the wicks to the downside. So it's a long at the moment. I'm just going to take one long on the Dow and see if I can get a run up on the Dow on the futures, but not going anywhere, is it? Total inside bar boredom. Right, let me just catch up on what else is going on in chat. Morning outro, morning Evans, EuroCAD. Did I cover EuroCAD? Oh, wrong one. Yeah, done EuroCAD. Morning day trader FX. Morning grey, gold. Gold. So gold is a US dollar cross. This will go up or down this afternoon based on what the US dollar does. So if we get bullish retail results, gold will come down. If we get bearish retail results, gold will go up. So right now, obviously, we're just sideways. There's, if you're going to take a trade today, short the high. Wait for the reversal alert, M5, short the high. Then assume that we're going to come back down to low of range. But obviously, this is all going to move at 1:30 this afternoon. What does the order book look like on the DAX? I don't know. I haven't got it. Don't know. Don't trade the. Haven't got DAX futures at all. None of the futures companies really support DAX futures. You can trade DAX futures direct with the exchange, but none of the prop firms allow you to trade the DAX. It's all through CME and NYMEX, so you can't get the DAX. So I don't know what the order book looks like. the order book is incredibly light on the futures for the indices at the moment. Even for a Globex session, there's no volume there. There's just no volume anywhere today. No one's interested until the retail figures are out today, by the looks of things. So I think we just got to wait. Wait, basically, for the 1:30 news, which is CPI and the retail, and then we'll get some movement there, basically. But we are attempting along on the DAX, so it is looking. So as I said, you know, the buyer's definitely in control based on the wicks. So whether they've got enough to get a rally going or not will remain to be seen. But at the moment, it doesn't look like it, does it? No volume, so not a lot we can do. So just wait really and see what happens at 1:30. So as you can see, there's nothing on ADR getting anywhere really close today. New Zealand dollar is probably the best contender today for an ADR. I mean, even that's miles away. Look, New Zealand dollar Swiss still got about a quarter of an ADR to go, third of an ADR. Same with New Zealand dollar yen. New Zealand US starting a little bit of a pullback. Just nothing moving. Euro odds coming up to highs. So euro is on the march at the minute. But not massively. So Aussie New Zealand and Euro New Zealand are really the only things that are looking like they might get somewhere today so far, but we'll see. Bit of a rubbish one today. Morning, Amar. Morning, Hannes. What indicator on MT4 do you use to show your closed trades on the graph? So that's the system, the support resistance propulsion indicator, that one. So that you can show trade history on the chart. That does lots, that indicator. It's support resistance, basically. But it also plots the trades. You can plot your trades, though, anytime you like. If you just open a new chart and just go to your account history and drag your trades onto the chart, it plots them. So if ever you want to see all your trades plotted, you can do it manually. Just drag your trades on and you'll see them plotted. But I like having automated stuff because I'm lazy. Morning, Gordy. So yeah, there you go. I haven't really got anything else to discuss today. As I say, it's going to be one of those sessions today. I think it's just going to be. I'm going to take one more attempt on the futures to go long. Well, to take a breakout. In fact, I shouldn't even be taking this, to be honest. It's going to be one of those mornings where I'm going to start the New York session $500 down, which I can get back in one trade at the futures open, so it doesn't matter. But it would be nice to make a little bit before. But as you can see, we're not going anywhere. There's no volume in the market at all today. So it's just a case of waiting until 1:30. We might get a move, but the move you'll probably find will be one of those really big, strong push, pull type moves where you just get a lot of movement and a lot of wicks on the way to wherever you're going, which means it's very difficult because you get stopped out a lot if you're using tight stops. So you kind of want to go with the opening range breakout today. If it goes long or short, probably worst case scenario today, you might get a long on or a short on. That'll be it. You're probably not going to get whipsawed if you're just using the 5-minute opening range as your entry level today. But if you took the pre-market, well done. You've been paid already and you're done. You can go and do something else. Anybody got any other pairs they want to look at? Because there's nothing else really to cover this morning because it's flat as a pancake. See if I've got anything I can bank. New Zealand US is getting close. Well, it's not getting close. It's an ADR away, but that's on the way. Everything else is just waiting for the move to kick in. So yen pairs struggling, really struggling. The yen pairs to get any traction on this. The yen seems to be powering up a little bit again, but again, nothing dramatic, is there? Very, very tricky. Outro, Aussie dollar, Mexican dollar. Yep, I can have a look at that. Let's have a look if I've even got it. Is there even an Aussie dollar Mexican? I don't. No. Can't do that one, sorry. I haven't looked at the Mexican peso for ever. Not interested. Morning, Michael. Right, that's all I've got for you today. I know you were joking. Peso might become a prevalent. Oh my God, it's flashing. Might become a relevant pair, that the Mexican peso. If this new other currency that there, well, not currency, but amalgamation of currencies comes to fruition with the Mexican peso, the Brazilian real, Chinese yuan, and all that other stuff, the Russian ruble, trying to basically take over from the US as the predominant currency. So it may be that we start to look at that at some point in the future. You never know. It could become an actual tradable asset, but not right now. Mexican NOK. Now there's a pair. There's a pair that's going to have high volatility and not much slippage, and a spread as tight as, and that's behind. Trying to think of the most exotic pair. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my broker doesn't even give me the exotics. The most exotic I can get is the Polish zloty. That was obviously the yuan, and obviously the ZAR. The ZARs were the one that a lot of people tend to trade, US dollar ZAR. But as you'll, the spread's not actually too bad on that today. Look. Someone's just bought a load of NASDAQ. So yeah, I mean, this is quite heavily traded. This is the one I use as an example when we see all these signal services going, we make 2,500 pips a month. Really? Well, that's less than the ADR of the US dollar ZAR. So what you're saying, you take one trade on the US dollar ZAR, take it off, and then go, hey, look how good we are. But yeah, this moves to over 2,000 pips a day, this thing. It's actually not looking too bad, is it, as a currency? Quite impressed with that. That looks tradable to me. Tight spread. I bet the swaps aren't particularly fun. Swap long minus 250, swap short 94. Yeah. So your swaps on the US dollar CAD are $5 and $2. Your swaps on the US dollar ZAR are $250 and $94. Don't hold it overnight. It'll hurt badly. Euro's making a decent run this morning. Unfortunately, the DAX is not. So dead session. Just leave it alone today. And just wait for this afternoon. BRICS, that's it. That's that other thing, isn't it? BRICS. I never remember the name of it. I'm not looking into it. I'm trying to stay away from it at the moment until we get some confirmation of what, when, and etc. Because it's going to take a lot to topple the US as the world's currency, and it's going to take countries like the UK to say, yeah, okay, we'll start transacting in Chinese yuan instead of US dollar when we make purchases with Russia, if we ever do again, for example. So I don't think it's going to be an easy thing for them to accomplish, but we'll see. At some point, we will start trading other things. We always do. We never used to trade the Swiss franc. Now we do. US dollar ZAR is too volatile. You can't ever have too much volatility, Mimpo. Volatility is how we make money. If we don't have volatility, look at this. I can't make money today in the DAX. Why? Because we've got no volatility. It's one thing you need as a trader is volatility. It's never too volatile. The faster and harder something moves, the more opportunities you've got to make money. This not going to work. Not today. Right, I'll leave it there today. I think it will definitely be a tradable asset in the next 5 years. Yeah, I think something's going to change. Certainly, COVID's changed everything, as we've seen. It's been very, very difficult on the markets, COVID, and I don't think that's going to change. So, other currencies coming in will. Competition's good. Competition means things move more. We need some competition in the DAX. Gold, Steve, I've already done gold. It's a sell, I would say, today, right now. In fact, you're just about to get a reverse alert on M5. I've just changed the chart on the wrong platform. Haven't I? Yeah, that was the DAX. Doing. Gold over here. I was going to say the indicators don't look right. Just about to get a reverse alert on gold up at that high. So this afternoon, if we get positive US retail figures, gold will come down. But at the moment, we're waiting for the news, it seems. So 1:30 this afternoon, CAD and US. Okay, have a good morning. Good luck. Good luck. Nothing's moving, so good luck making money today. We'll wait and see what happens this afternoon, and we'll trade the US markets later on. But this morning, it's just a case of just managing the positions and seeing if anything actually gets anywhere. So, all right, have a good one. I'll be back 2:20 this afternoon for the US session. Watch the news at 1:30, and then back tomorrow morning for Frankfurt, and we'll see if we get anything moving. So other than that, have a good day, and I will see you guys later.